I think I have everything properly set up. I think I'm finally getting used to OBS. And once we got a couple of people here, I will start reacting to the call in the cat's lair. That ironically, because I love Mink so much, the soft Mink uh, recorded and uploaded unlisted. Hello, everyone. Hi. Hi. Why is your character thrusting like a pervert? Hello, Jay. Unseen Smoke. Got Pickle Rick. Luke. Kano. The goat is back. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. So quiet. Okay, you know what? The Dark Lord is here. I can try to turn it up, but it's all the way up. I don't know why people keep saying that. Maybe if I turn this up, it'll do it. Is it better? Is this better? Hello, everyone. Hi. Stroke your mic up. I was watching your last video and couldn't help but laugh. I mean, I remember what you said in the stream, but this stuff just writes itself. ACC stuff keeps happening. Lio says that you don't have the Cloud Palace logs. Is that true? So I don't have the logs at the moment. I think eventually they'll be willing to pass them to me. I do find it odd that they're not willing to give me the logs. But I have seen bits and pieces of it. I have been shown bits and pieces in the past. We're talking 2 or 3 years ago. And I've been recently shown bits and pieces of it. Um, just things that were said either about me or things that have been said about other people. And it has been wonderful to look into. So we'll see, but one way or another, there's going to be a Cloud Palace video. That much I can promise you. There will be a Cloud Palace video. One way or another, I'm going to get those logs and I'm going to talk about it. Also, hello everyone. I'm going to wait a little bit until we got a couple of viewers before I immediately get into reacting. He said he didn't want to bias people looking into it, but he's also doing the same thing where he gave it off to other people to look into it. I I think it's because I don't I don't buy the bias thing because as much as people insist that my bias somehow gets in the way of things, um, I've stuck mostly to the objectives, and when I'm wrong, I've corrected myself. And I'll continue to do so because there's no point in not. You guys should donate for his new stuff. Thank you, Evan, with the $2. But it's it's odd. I don't. But you know what? Actually, I will ask Lio. You know what? We're gonna get to the bottom of that right now. Let me see. He's not active, but I'm gonna text and ask. I'm gonna yeah. What is the reason behind me? Hold on. What is the reason? Actually, no. I'm just gonna ask him because I think he plans on covering it this weekend. Will I get the Cloud Palace logs from you? Question mark. Okay, and here's the thing though. I'm not gonna expect Lio to give me the logs simply because I didn't give him the FCK logs. I wasn't trusting of him. Now, we all know why, as as Kumo and other people drilled into my head the thing that that he insisted was going to happen did come to pass. So it's not like I didn't have my reasoning for not giving Lau the FCK logs, but I entirely understand if he doesn't want to pass me the Cloud Palace logs, especially because, well, some of the people in the SCC like to kiss his ass publicly, to him, but then, privately they don't really like him. Um, Again, same thing I said when looking at the messages between him and Heaton. It I don't have you guys played God of War 4 or I think it's 4. Um, God of War Ragnarok with Odin and Thor. That's kind of the way they sort of treat Lyle with this, when he's useful, he's meant to be this non-thinking just attack dog that they send out at whoever they want, and he's not meant to talk aside from that. Why are you talking? What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you broken? Like, that's exactly how they treat him. And then you can see that in the conversation with Heaton and Lyo. Chris the Narc had it up on his stream, actually. If I think I have some of the screenshots. I can pull them up. You touch tips with Cloud Palace members. God, no. I love that the SEC is such an atrocity that it has a merch line now. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. When I was thinking merchandise, by the way, like the stream, there's only 4 likes and there's 33 of you. Okay, um, but if I were to do merchandise, I have to be careful about it because if I use their exact designs, I could get in legal trouble because of that. But if I did a parody design where you can obviously tell who it is, but not being exact, then I could probably make some FCK or even SCC some merchandise. Because there's been a couple of spats previously. If you're curious about my previous spats of the slideshow community, you can see that in the FCK Maxim. Or if you're not interested in that, there's a playlist dedicated to it. I wouldn't trust Lau passing off the logs to other people, especially in his circle, as last time he did Doodles covered things up. It's pretty reckless in handling it. I agree with you all. I do find it odd that he doesn't want me looking into it. Now, that's not going to stop me, okay? I'm still going to look into it. I'm still making a video on the Cloud Palace, no matter how long it takes. You're getting a Cloud Palace video, but um, I do find it odd that I'm sort of cut out of the loop there. Um, we'll see. We'll see how things develop. But one way or another, you're getting a Cloud Palace video. One way or another. Because I am very excited from the things that I've seen and the gall of the things that I've seen. Things that even Lyle himself has shown me. That, which is interesting because I haven't run forth with it, right? I'm waiting, just as he's asked me to, and he'd prefer me to. I'm waiting because the gall of the things that I've been shown, it's it's something else. It it's beautiful. I'm wondering if maybe he's holding it because he wants to prove he'll do better than the FCK, but even still, it's weird. That could be it. Maybe he wants to show that, he can handle something and not like have another FCK situation, which if that is the case, you know, power to him, but I'm still gonna make a Cloud Palace video. I don't care if I have to wait and bide my time. I'm making a Cloud Palace video. Because you guys have to realize this, okay? One, I love collecting their hug boxes. Like off the bat, that's first things first. I love collecting their hug boxes, because there's just so much wonderful, hilarious shit that's said in them. Darkness Stone server being especially one of them. But also on that, aside from the fact that I love collecting the hug boxes, this is the one that's like the holy grail, okay? Where this one's mostly slideshow people, right? There's less intersectionality with the art community because they're so totally different. But this one is where they did a lot of the gay opping. This is where they did a lot of the scheming. And the when I say there's a lot of scheming and a lot of goal in that scheming and a complete lack of self-awareness across the board, when Lio said, in his announcement, what Lio said in his announcement that I read to you all in the most recent TISM report doesn't scratch the surface. It doesn't. It doesn't. What the? Alley with 4.99. I, what does that even mean? TS, I'm guessing this shit blurk. Owen. Like, okay. It is weird how Lyle almost 180 his reputation, but I figured it's because he's useful with the archives and the calls. He still catches slack. Don't think that he doesn't catch any slack for everything. And he's come to me and shown me some of the stuff. And like this, there have been people, okay, that have messaged me on Twitter asking me, how they would go about reporting Lyle to the police. To which I'm like, for what? Like, from my understanding, he hasn't done anything illegal. And I don't know. People seem to think I have a hate boner for him. We butt heads. We obviously that fucking last year, and don't think that I like. For example, me and Lio still sternly we disagree because he asserts that he wasn't lying at all last year, and I I believe he absolutely was. Um, that isn't not all the time. I don't believe he was all the time. I want to make that distinction clear. I don't believe at every turn he was lying, but when we have that discussion in our DMs, the main thing that I bring up is the Peaches situation and the whole him going, well, Peaches didn't know there were any minors in the server after being in the call. Oh, hold on. Chill J with a, are you planning to make one soon? Are you planning to make soon a aftermath of the whole ACC fall down? By the way, thank you for the 9.99. Um, I could do one. I could do an aftermath. Um, Now, one thing I want to make clear to you all, okay? I don't believe, this is where me and Lyle also disagree. I don't believe you can fix this. Like, whether it be the art community, this shit's so Owen, okay? I don't believe you can with the art community. I don't believe you can with the slideshow community. And, some people look at that and they go, oh, well, then you're not doing it to make things better. And it's like, I have two things to say about that. One, I don't think you can fix something that's gone on repeatedly for nearly 10 years now. Okay, this is the very clearly the very foundation. Okay, is like this to the core. And secondly, these people made fun of me when I had the delusional aspiration of wanting to change the community. You don't remember that? It's in the I show it briefly in the Maxim. They were saying that I was trying to rip off Dark Scythe in the alt commentary community. And when V Omega came back and was LARPing as the alt commentary community on Twitter, throwing shade at me, saying that I was trying to riff on that. The SCC in particular did this, by the way. So for them to sit there and say, "Oh, you're not trying to make things better," no, because one, when I had the idea of changing the community for the better, you made fun of me for it, and rightfully so, because it was delusional. And deep down, you people knew it was delusional too, referring to the SCC. They knew it was delusional. That's why they were poking fun at me for it. Because I don't think you can fix it. I don't think you can. Um, I think the best thing you can do is point and laugh and burn it to the ground because there's no stopping. Okay, like just because clearly letting the rot fester, these last few years, like Dark Scythe called it in 2018. There's nothing you can do to stop these people, to change these people, to get them to not keep partaking in the same fucking habits that get them in the same corner every time. We are grizzled veterans of the RCC wars. I mean, how the fuck does anyone fix this? Hope a new community of ACC people will be better than the last on YouTube. That's asking for a fucking lot. You can't fix a person who refuses to help themselves. And that's another thing too, actually, right there, Topaz Coyote with a you can't fix a person who refuses to fix themselves. That's exactly it. These people are perpetual victims. They are always victims. They can never, like, when it comes to owning anything that they've done, they always downplay it, okay? Their actual actions, when they try to own their actions, they always downplay it, right? And then they won't own up to the actual worst parts of what it is that they did. So there's nothing you can do. okay? Because they don't want to improve. They want to be professional fucking victims at all times. They can't take the, take the L and admit where they were wrong, and then, so forth. There's no, as much as they love it, the idea of nuance doesn't exist to them. They have to be victims at all times. Look at Heaton, look at Nezzy Monster. It was stalking. It was perfectly fine. Actually, let's start at the beginning. It was perfectly fine for Nezzy to get in Madame's Discord server. That was not stalking. It was perfectly fine for them to look at Madame's social media accounts and her Discord server and to spy in there. Nani and CZ and all of them. They did it. They did the exact same thing to me. They proceeded to do the exact same thing to me. But then when I'm doing it to them, looking at their public social media accounts and what they're saying, public Discord servers and their public Twitter accounts under the exact same username, and they're victims of stalking and harassment. And I could go into the SCC more on this, but that's things that I've been shared that I can't talk about yet, that I'd love to, because it's utterly ridiculous. Akumu held a mirror and they all fucking melted. Yes, monotypical. They tried to change the CC with the alt CC back in 2017. They never learned. Rest in peace, Darkseid. Yeah, one thing, yeah, absolutely rest in peace, Darkseid. One thing that, was depressing was seeing that Darkseid was like completely against the content previously made and lamenting and like even apologized to these people as if, you weren't right. Like, why would you apologize to the people you were completely right about? In fact, I implore you guys to watch, if you can find it, it's somewhere on YouTube. Dark Scythe's two videos, the two-parter, The Undying Shapeshifter. This is made 2017, I think, on the SCC, predominantly the slideshow community. Everything that's gone over in that video, so many of those problems have been exacerbated and have just ballooned into much bigger problems, into a much bigger size, community-wide with these people. It's ballooned. It's gotten bigger. Those problems didn't go away. The exact same things that you see me talk about, almost every single one, not every single one, but so many of them, Dark Scythe and the others were talking about years ago. 15 minutes late, what did I miss? Nothing much. I've just been waiting for, get a decent amount of people before I start reacting to Lyo's call in Senate. Or Cat Slayer. To be blunt, we made the alt-CC as a joke to both mock the CC and the alt-right, and we just wanted to be edgelords doing shit. Still, shit was funny as fuck. Oh yeah, and then you had the SCC who have basically tried to rewrite history about the alt-CC, and that's been neat because always the self-victimization shit. But I think it's time we get into that call. I think it's time. It is late. I promised you all. Okay. I'm g- I got to take the L here. I'm gonna have to take the L here. I was working on the TISM report today, and I was hoping to get it out around 2. Some things happened which prevented that. So then I got it out around 6, 7, and I promised in the video that I was going to do the stream reacting to the Cat Slayer call. And I was like, I'm not going to push it back again because originally I was going to do it yesterday. I was going to announce the stream yesterday. But then I was like, nah, I'm going to do it tomorrow when I upload the video. And so I was like, instead of pushing it back and lying to you all in the video, I'm going to suck it up and I'm going to do the stream. Because I said I was going to do the stream. So I know it's late. If you have work in the morning, don't watch. You can watch this later, or try don't let me hold you back. Okay, don't let me hold you back. If you got other stuff to do, real life is far more important. Wait, there's a call you're going to be reacting to. The fuck kind of petty bullshit have I been missing? You're gonna find out, Alex. So let me see if I can get this um, up. on 1 second. We're going to see if I can get this window to work. Okay, can you guys see it? Can you guys see this? I'm hoping so. I'm hoping you guys can see this. Hello. My bad decisions are mine to make, but I'll watch what I can. Okay, perfect, perfect. So let's get into this then.
Little phone. I saw that. So I'll just cut to the quick. Sunday night, it was discovered that at one point, Susie had defended an individual who went by the name of George Raccoon previously. This was found out because Julie had mentioned this individual in her video on Avi. And
Okay, beforehand, I want to make sure you guys can hear. Because if I try and play to make sure you can hear, it's going to play back and it's going to do a double loop. So I'm going to try to avoid that. I've learned my lesson. I'm starting to learn how OBS works. So, can you guys hear the video? Before I continue, can you guys hear it? And who is my favorite Dragon Ball character? Um, Zamazu is really funny, simply because he was one of the characters that I used to mock these people. And his like pursuit of justice, I really love. And I like him and the way he fights and stuff like that. Kid Buu is another one. So there you go. Those would probably be Janemba, um, or Vegeta. I like Vegeta. Vegeta's the goat. All right, you guys can hear it. Perfect. Let's do this.
apparently, George had rebranded under the name of Horace Tome and tagged her on some fan art he did of her on Blue Sky. She recognized the style, wanted to know why this freak was still around, and found out that Susie did a video in 2021 defending him and claiming that George Raccoon, aka Horace, and he was here at one point, is not in fact a groomer because the children didn't set a barrier there or a boundary. And well, the art wasn't inherently sexual, even though in both the Google Doc that he released and other people have released, it's very clear that, and this is going to sound weird, okay? I get it. I don't understand it either. The point is, you don't draw children in your freaking fetishes. But apparently, the little weirdo had a fetish for disappearing acts with magic and with the outfit worn by Snow White. Now, I do not know why at any point none of this triggered Susie's,
Oh, Dead Reckoning with $10. I've always known Doodle has been the biggest fucking hypocrite. I remember very well the day the Undying Shapeshifter came out, Doodle hid himself in a private Skype chat that was an echo chamber. To add to what you're saying, prior to the Undying Shapeshifter coming out, they did one of their gay fucking hashtags called Salt CC to make fun of the impending video and the Alt CC. So like their hashtag thing, their Twitter thread thing has been a reoccurring problem of theirs, which has consistently got them flack because they'll go and do some stupid shit. Which is recently why it's died down. Finally, after a couple years, they did learn a little bit because after they did it with Ren and it blew up in their face and they immediately went and tried to delete all of the threads that they made about the FCK leaks that they instantaneously rushed to do with hashtags. um, they then learned after that it wasn't going to work this time around. But thank you for the $10. I appreciate that.
isn't Snow White 13 or, that's really weird that he drew minors in this. It all came down to, well, the minors didn't set the boundary. Now, that's damning enough. The other issue is the fact that the accusations that ran George/Horace out happened in 2019. Susie's video came out in 2020.
I do like Whis. Okay, since you guys are talking about it, yeah, Whis is fun. Okay, just a retard with $1. I appreciate that.
One, there was ample time to research. There was ample time to double check. There was ample time to just use your gut dang eyes and see what was actually in front of you. But instead of doing that, Susie spent the 2 years between the accusations and the video uh, convincing people in her own spaces that Horace was not a groomer. To the point.
Oh wow. So in between the 2 years before the video came out, Susie was basically priming the SCC to the idea.
Point to where he was eventually welcomed back in the community, and his own victims wound up apologizing to him because they were gaslit into thinking that, well, clearly I wasn't actually groomed because look at what Susie said. And even in the comments of the video, one of the victims speaks out and gets dogged on by certain members of the community, such as, of course, Avi and a few
Of course, like clockwork.
other people. Now, the ones who are still around, with the exception of one or two people so far, have already apologized for this because, frankly, a problem in the audiences of any commentary space is people just listen to what's being said by the creator they like as opposed to having any sort of, well, analytical skills themselves.
Yeah, I agree with Lio here, okay? Anything anyone says, including me, question, okay? If there is not, definitive screenshots backed up, or if the screenshots look sketch, question that shit immediately. Now, of course, I know some of you guys aren't that invested, and this is just entertainment for you. Most of us are like, let's keep it real. I'm pretty much a jester to you all, and that's okay. I know that. Okay, my top priority is to try and bring information to you all, but also be funny at the same time. Okay, I know that I'm not like this important figurehead. That's fine. I don't mind that. You guys use me as mostly background noise. Nothing wrong with that. That's a reality I'm fine with. It's funny, but um, the thing is if you are invested, like some of you are, question the information being provided, especially if there's no screenshots to back it up. Because, for example, Ponder was just going around making claims about me, many of which in her video just had no, not even a screenshot to back it up. Nothing, nothing for it. Which is, again, ironic to the title of non-existent evidence, but also goes to show that there are people that will just believe anything, especially if it's said about people they already don't like. Akumu is Goku Black hovering over the burning SCC with a smile. That would be a dope art piece. Why? Okay, I don't know why the call is unlisted, but I can tell you this is uploaded. This is, I think, recorded and uploaded by the Soft Mink on her alt account. So, Cat Slayer member, big Lio Glazer, same one that was making up excuses and anything, even called me an authoritarian in the past and compared me to a cult leader, ironically enough. So, I don't know. Maybe I have no fucking idea. I wouldn't even be able to come up with an assumption there. She just probably prefers it unlisted.
Now, that's all bad enough as it is, right? Unfortunately, it gets worse. So, because of Susie's monumental screw up, I demanded that she hand over to me her server to Cloud Palace. Now, I had been in it in the past couple of months because I was planning on eventually auditing the thing as a whole because she wanted to address all of her wrongdoings, and I figured what better way than to start with her own personal server. I hadn't had time to dig into it. However, the people I did let in recently have, and only on the surface, only a little bit. And so far, what they have found is the following: allowing children into threads talking about freaks and weirdos that they should never have had access to, actively planning and dunking on literal children and putting them on the same level as adults in both video making and cognitive skills, and other deranged behavior and statements not only allowed by Susie, which would have been a different ball in it itself, but encouraged and perpetrated by her and other members as well.
From the shit that I've seen, he's not lying. Like I could back Lio up here, and I haven't seen a whole lot. I want to preface this now. In comparison to the sheer size and how old this server is, I haven't seen a whole lot. Okay, but I've seen enough that I completely like back Lio with this. The amount of shit that they would finger wag anyone else for saying, yet they would allow to go on in the server. Think of that 6 hour fucking call they did with Keyblade. Okay, they would do shit that they were confronting Keyblade about in this fucking server, and no one got big confrontational calls and finger wags for it. Nothing. In fact, it was pretty much rewarded and responded to in kind. Okay, I'm not going to get any more specific than that because I don't think I can, but I fully back Lio here, and I haven't even seen like a full fucking log yet. I've seen just screenshots that have been passed to me. So that'll hopefully give you an idea as to what we're getting ourselves into as we go past these, as we move forward and begin to unpack this server.
And we've gotten to the point where
Oh, so it's okay. The Cloud Palace isn't as bad as the FCK server. I want to make that clear. I don't think there's anything in. So when it comes to there's a difference in what in the Cloud Palace and the FCK server, massive difference. And the difference is the Cloud Palace is mostly filled with like ridiculous gossip and just rumor being accepted as fact, outlandish claims, insanely ridiculous shit being said that is extremely chronically online and yet is entirely rewarded and and just completely treated as if it's normal. Like it's a hug box. It is the hug boxes of hug boxes for these people. Okay, it is a circle jerk. Like you thought, if you think of the FCK's elements of just hug box and circle jerk, where they just say the most ridiculous shit. I'm talking excluding the porn, excluding the grooming that was going on in the FCK server. I want you to think of the hypocrisy, and I want you to think of um, the hug box nature of just going along with the most absurd, silly, goofy shit and taking the most absurd things seriously. That is essentially what's going on in the Cloud Palace and has been for years. So so minus the NSFW shit, minus the grooming of minors, cut that out. Think of the FCK server, but cut all that out. Think of just the scale of the hypocrisy and the kind of conversations that went on in there casually, minus the inappropriate stuff. Okay, so for example, um, for a conversation that'd be similar, um, them talking about teaching me a lesson. Okay, the constant conversations about teaching me a lesson and fucking me over that were in the FCK. Think of that, but they would talk about that with pretty much everyone in the Cloud Palace that they didn't like. So there's a massive distinction between the two. The Cloud Palace, luckily, is going to be a much lighter, but also the hypocrisy is the same level of hypocrisy is going to be there. So I just want to clear that you make that distinction so people aren't saying that I'm trying to draw comparisons there. The Dead Reckoning with $5. This is the reason the Doodle nuked his channel, question mark. The fact that they let V Omega hover those communities, they let the other sickos in as well. Sorry, I need to pay attention to chat more. Yeah, the FCK is absolutely worse than the Cloud Palace. There's differences and distinctions between them.
we've also come to the conclusion that there was an individual in these spaces who went by the name of Ray Kohai, Rachel, whatever stupid name is. I wish she
Oh, this fucking person. Okay.
perform a disappearing act permanently. She was initially outed from the community for backbiting, talking trash behind the scenes, and having and I quote, cult of personality, which, I can understand not wanting somebody like that in your spaces. However, when people in her circle,
Do you know if there's going to be a Dropbox of screenshots like how people did with Pentagram? Okay, so this is my recommendation, and this is what me and Ren were doing. So when me and Ren were, working on this, and Ren was going to be, behind the FCK Leaks account, the idea was because when Ren was on board to help me out with it, I told Ren, look, you can't use my screenshots, you can't use my recordings. You need to get your own recordings. You need to get your own screenshots of the logs, and you need to get your own exported copy of the logs. That way, no one can say that the evidence is strictly from me. If everyone, because everyone we were inviting, we were telling the exact same thing. Get your own recordings, get your own screenshots, get your own exports of the logs. That way, we have multiple different recordings, multiple different screenshots, and multiple different exports of the logs from different people and essentially different accounts seeing the exact same stuff. And that way, no one could question and say that we were doctoring or, editing anything. And hopefully they end up doing the same here with the Cloud Palace because and it's not saying I don't trust them to report honestly, just that it would be A, better and more trustworthy for A, the audience, and B, so that various SCC members can't wiggle their way out of it with fucking pedantry and semantics like they did with literally every other fucking time there people point shit out. Oh, NC's Creator Corner with a 4.99. Take my money. I will keep saying that you are the GOAT. Also, you remind me it's never too early or too late to speak up or stand up for yourself. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Hold on, let me give that a good old like there. Oh, hold on. Yeah, you too. Hold on. Trying to keep up with the chat here. Raider. At Akumu, do you find it funny Fuchsia Butter ran after you dropped the video on the FCK? I find it so funny how you're so confident with videos on you only to run away, lol. Yeah, I fucking find it hilarious. All that talk about, ruining me and fucking me over, and then the second I'm capable of A, defending myself, but B, talking properly, because back then I was all over the place. I was, scatterbrained. Now that I can actually get my points across, now all of a sudden these people they don't want to have that conversation anymore. Alex the critic said, essentially you have to live by what Denzel said in Training Day. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Oh, that was also said in Law Abiding Citizen. Uh, yeah. All right, let's continue.
Came forward about being groomed by other individuals. Susie's crew decided they weren't valid victims because, well, I don't like these kids because they're hanging around.
I have no idea what happened to Nani. I have no idea. What I find funny about Nani, this is the one thing every time someone brings her up, this is the first thing I immediately think of. Because keep in mind, I DM'd her. Okay, back in 2019, I DM'd her. I asked her, "Hey, can I use clips from your video for my video, my Slimmers video?" And she's like, "Yeah, yeah." I used the clips. She then comments and says, "I didn't expect you to use so much. Could you link me in the description?" Yeah, sure. I linked her in the description. She's still linked there to this day. 2021. Kai is calling right after, just like a day or two after, I think, after Kai calls for me to be uh, reported and struck down by other people for copyright infringement, and he calls for other people to do it. She posts on Twitter timestamps that specifically go to my Slimmers video, saying that that's her content and asking if it's copyright infringement. And then when me and Nil pointed this out, she backtracked and deleted her tweet. Um, and then after that, I know that there was some controversy with her, but I didn't follow after that. I just think that here's the thing with Nani, here's the thing with all of them. They put on this like really nice, gentle, and empathetic approach to fool you guys over, but they're really conniving, devious fucking people. Like, they just hide it. Oh, the A space, this is evil stuff. Hold on. Cryohazard with $2. Hey Akumu, what's the update on everything? Uh, Short and sweet. Bunch of stuff has happened with the SCC, and particularly with Doodles. Doodles is seemingly not going to be coming back at all, from what I've been able to gather. And turns out there was some stuff that happened in 2021 that Lio's made a call, previously some announcements about that we're currently reacting to. But thank you for the $2. The more sweeter or cuter the profile pic is, the more evil they are behind it. That's that's a good rule of thumb.
Ray Kohai. Keep in mind, this is before people found out that Ray herself was a groomer. That's where the priorities of the community were.
Oh, Riri C77 with $5 said, as a disabled adult myself, I'm tired of seeing this group of people use their disabilities as an excuse. It's really getting old. I completely agree with you. It's they use their disabilities, their mental health, um, and even their childhood trauma. Actually, this is a point that I made the other day privately, but I don't. I think it's entirely agreeable. If I make it here. Oh, it's Adam in chat. Hey, Adam, how you doing, man? So the point is, I think a lot of these people, a lot of the people in the art community audience weren't willing to hear me out and weren't willing to give me a chance because I didn't do the usual stick of crying. If I made a video saying that I felt unsafe and uncomfortable and I accused them of stalking and harassing me, and I said, and I talked about how my mental health was doing poor and said that I was going to kill myself because of what they were doing, then and I got really over dramatic about it, then maybe they would have heard me out on what they were doing. But I didn't do any of that because I didn't take them seriously enough to let it get to me like that. Had I, just tried to go on a full tangent about my childhood and oh, I was raised like this and mommy and daddy did this to me. If I did all that, they would have maybe listened then because it's really, dramatic and sad and plays on the pathos appeals and tugs on the tear jerkers, but like I didn't do any of that. So I think that's one of the reasons why they weren't willing to just hear my side out because I didn't go the same angle of let me be a fucking crybaby. Yeah, I didn't speak their language as Vincent Martin put it. As Vincent Martin put it. Cryohazard with the 20. Okay, all right, calm down. Doodle's gone. Here's a W for you. Thank you. But truth be told, I don't want any of these people gone. I've said this publicly and I've said it privately. I want them to stay. Okay? I want them to stay. And here's why I want them to stay. And maybe this is petty, but as much as Nezzy wants to victimize herself in the call with Thuman and in the call with Thuman and Doodles, which I will be covering, as you guys will see shortly. Not in this stream, but in its own video, as I said. Why one I never said I wanted her gone, and like when I told her I was going to take them down one by one, they immediately assumed I meant like canceling them. But if you'd noticed, and I do want you to notice, I've never called for them to be canceled, and I never called for them to leave their platforms. In fact, I want them to stay. I've never tried to mass report them. I've never called for them to be mass reported. I've told you guys in the comments multiple times not to do unsub campaigns, not to do mass report campaigns or anything like that. I've told other people, don't do mass unsub campaigns. Don't try and peer pressure other people into unsubscribing from them. I don't want them gone. In fact, the best part about this is that I want them to stay and they're leaving on their own. That's the best part. They're leaving on their own when I want them to stay. And I want them to stay because I had to sit and stew in 4 or 5 years of people nonstop bringing up shit and holding it over my head that I didn't even do. And all of a sudden they catch a little bit of flack, not even remotely close to what I was dealing with because their favorite people, like Ponder, she doesn't want to cover any of this. Impeccable timing. Um, so they don't get nearly as much flack. They're not getting the hundreds of thousands. So and they just break from it. But let me catch up with chat real quick. Doodles is gone. Crab wave. Akumu just killed Doodles like Vegeta killed Nappa. You're an adult, like these people are all adults. Act like and stop allowing children in your spaces when you know they're not allowed. I agree to that. I wouldn't be too optimistic. Remember when Locke did that call with Doodles to respect the victim's wishes and not coming back? Doodles came back anyways. Oh, Rex Hellroom with $2 said the ACC is a hilarious hazard. Portabella said, Akumu, you're so mean. Stop attacking them. Akumu can't make more videos on these idiots if they run. That is true. Ponder is next on the chopping board. I'm calling it now. A lot of people want to give Ponder this benefit of the doubt, okay, and be really lenient and soft with her. And I don't know why, because she had no problem dunking people and driving them to the ground regardless. Especially when, and after our call, okay, after my call with Doodles, not Doodles, with with Ponder. I thought at first initially there was no malice. She wasn't dishonest in her approach. And then I rewatched and listened to our call, and I noticed some inconsistencies. And then I rewatched the two-part collab, and then I rewatched the collab with Stone. And then I was like, okay, yeah, there's no fucking way. There's no way. People like to make a lot of excuses for Ponder, and don't like the fact that I'm currently holding her to the standards that she held me to. Like, why are you deleting your comments? Why are you deleting your tweets? Hold on now. Are you trying to hide your actions here? Like people don't like that. It's like, why? She set the standards. Queen Ponder, right? Why is she exempt from them? In fact, she should be proud. Her whole intro was talking about, she talks about wrongdoings and contradictions and false narratives. That's exactly what my series has done. And why is she quiet? And yet I'm going about things in a destructive way. Funny how that works. She should be proud of me. What's your thoughts on the Saberspark drama? I've only seen Beckett's coverage of it. And that's not to say that his coverage isn't enough, but I want to look into that more. But Akumu, she's one of the girlies. Um, Therapists don't have time for 9 hours. Okay? Ponder's not. Nezzy Monster and Fuchsia Butter is hiding. Yeah, Ponder's next, unfortunately. Into the Simply Dad Yo-Yo 3969 drama during the DeviantArt days. I think Ponder was being weird during that drama. I'll give it a look. Oh, Borg in chat. Imagine the amount of aneurysms people had over Doodletones protecting and enabling Horus Tome. All right, we got to really get into this call. Let's do this.
And it's getting worse the more it's looked into. So the sheer amount of stupid and vile, malicious behavior that has been enabled is causing a lot of issues here. Thankfully, a lot of the people who were the worst at it have been run off. Yoon has been caught being an absolute scumbag, obviously, but it's gotten to the point where this has become a massive community issue.
Oh, cart cart cartoon? I can't read that currently. Oh boy, hold on. I'm gonna say cartoon. Cartoon with the $5. Thank you. Currently at work, but we'll be listening to the stream. And GG Demon King. Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. GG Demon King.
And the ultimatum from my end is adapt or die. Either something needs to change very quickly.
Yes, Yoon from the calls with Ren, and I think maybe in the Cloak and Dagger calls. Take that with a grain of salt, but they were in the calls with Ren. So,
Very drastically, or the community's getting nuked and I'm going to start it myself. Now, Julie has the exact same fire because she's the one that dug into and found all this stuff out about Susie and confronted her in call. But I'm done. I am done with people trying to act like they care about people or children or whatever, and then I find out this is how they've been acting and magically kept it to themselves. Because see, one thing that Susie was saying was, well, the reason why I handled it this way is because of the false spotter accusations at the time. And if Susie had put her video out in 2019, I might have bought that. I might have given that credence. She spent 2 years. I don't buy the we were hesitant because Spocker after 2 years. I'm sorry, I don't. I just don't. The truth of the matter is, if you're hesitant because of false accusations in one point, that should make you double check everything, triple check it, quadruple check it. This is egregious. It is vile. And it is now opening up the fact that a lot of children were failed in this community. In fact, in one specific conversation, it didn't happen in Cloud Palace, but in another commentary space, where Lin Lin, at 15, all right, let's talk about literal child, did a video they didn't like. And instead of just having a conversation, they were in back rooms talking trash and hoping that it would get the attention of someone like Medicare. Now, Susie here has gone on multiple times talking about how her run-in with Medicare caused problems, how she got doxxed over it, yada, yada. We're finding some of that's not accurate either. Apparently, she left her information laying around. And the thing that people give her the most grief for is the diaper stuff, right? Well, yeah, haha, call her Doodle diapers. And Susie's been going on saying, well, you know, Doodle diapers, that's a name they gave me to harass me. Yeah, I found out that's not true either. Check chat. Oh, yeah, she gave it to herself in 2014.
Okay, hold on. I gotta catch up with chat. Okay. Um, Chill J with a 9.99 off-topic question, but any current lol counts you plan to cover eventually? There are a couple that are in my notes that I've sort of been looking into a little bit. But I don't know if I'm going to get into specifically lolcow content. I still have that Mugen video I'm working on. And interestingly enough, I think you guys are going to really like that video because as I'm doing a retrospective, I'm also doing a sort of like investigation, trying to uncover a couple of mysteries that are to do with it. And so I'm trying to reach out to some people and do some interviews and get some information for it. But we'll see how that goes. Right now, that one is in the works because I'm waiting to hear back from those people. At Akumu, these people made you their monster, and now they regret making you their monster. Yeah, it's like they drilled into my head that I needed evidence. But now that I have so much evidence, it's I'm a creepy obsessive stalker. They drilled into my head that I need to get better at editing and so forth. And well, here I am. I'm trying to improve, and it's now it's a problem. What kind of videos would you be doing if you didn't have those two videos on you? That is a good question. Here's the thing. I tried to move on, and I tried to do other videos. I tried to do videos on Battlefront 2 and on gaming and on My Hero Academia. I have My Hero Academia video privated, going over the what the audience and the pro shippers had done to the author, okay, of the manga. And all I got in the comments were people going on about the Madame drama, and of course the same false claims from the hit pieces they made on me. If you go to my Battlefront 2 video, same thing happened there. People brought it up. So there was no any content I made outside of it. My memes, I have several old memes from Battlefront 2 that I had uploaded that are currently privated solely because people were just too more worried about the shit that I was trying to let go and have them move past the FCK and their audience. Toby specifically came and commented on my Mandalorian meme. If you've seen the FCK Maxim, she came and commented on my Mandalorian meme that had nothing to do with any of it, and it was that she wanted a video too. So I tried to make videos related to gaming. But they just wouldn't have it. They wouldn't let it go. And then I gave them like 2 years. I gave them and their audience 2 years to either let it go or correct the record. And they didn't do that. They didn't want to do that. So then I made the series, and here we are.
This is sourced directly, and I've seen the link. I've followed it. I've looked.
I was shocked too, by the way, Max. I was completely shocked by that too. That like yes, the fighting game Mugen, but Max, that blew me away too. I had no fucking idea. And so when I learned that from Lava sharing it with me, I like I don't want to say I blew a gasket because I wasn't angry. I was just astonished. And so when I was talking with Lio and he was sharing with me a screenshot of Doodles, talking about Lindata getting a Medicare moment, I was like, hold on, the same person that was sitting here and has been lecturing everyone with this moral currency, sad, sop story of, oh my God, oh my God, so much has happened to me because of Medicare, even though he fucking picked the fight with Medicare. The nickname didn't come from Medicare. He gave it to himself, but then just rolled with the narrative that Medicare came up with it so he could victimize himself. He claimed that he was doxxed because of Medicare and his fans. Well, that's not true because Doodles was putting his fucking full name and address on multiple websites. That's how people got a hold of it, okay? Ironically, the way people got a hold of Medicare's information was they hacked his PayPal. That didn't happen with Doodles. No, they just found Doodles posting under the exact same username all of his private information. So that's how Doodles got doxxed. And when I pointed this out a couple years ago, the SCC dogpiled me for it. What else? What else? Oh, I got told to, the other thing was I got told to kill myself. Well, guess what? Fun fact, folks. Back then, Doodles was also going around telling people to kill themselves. So I don't really buy the whole it was really affecting him that much. NC's Creator Corner with a 4.99 said, "Hey, a little off topic. What's your advice for being harassed online? Because I've been dealing with that for 3 weeks." Um, well, it just depends. Okay, if my best advice is one, it's online, unless they're reaching out to try and fuck with your private life. Don't care about it. For starters, don't care about it. Secondly, what I did is I looked at what these people did, and, because they wanted to teach me a lesson, right? They wanted to show me and get me to learn. So instead of just looking at their words, I looked at their words and their actions, and I noticed incongruencies. And so if you're dealing with sort of a similar situation like that, look at both what they're saying and also their actions, and then you can poke fun at the incongruencies with that, because that's the weak spot is the incongruency. Like for example, they insist that me looking at their accounts is stalking and harassment or poking fun at them. Yet they had no problem poking fun at other people. They had no problem looking at my accounts and at the accounts of other people and hunting down various other people's new social media accounts and so forth. They had no problem with that. You poke fun at the incongruency and they lose their mind. Have fun with it is the point. Have fun with it. Don't let it get to you unless it's, individuals trying to, fuck with your private life. And then if it is that, then you're gonna want to go about that a different way. But if they're not fucking with your private life or trying to, have fun with it. Don't take it seriously. Also, don't cross your own standards, okay? Lay your standards out and try to be as consistent with them as possible. It's one thing to change your mind, it's another thing to conveniently only change your mind when you're in the hot seat. That's another thing I'd avoid. Did you know about Doodle's whining and crying about being banned from IMVU because he kept sneaking into the miner-only servers and he got caught faking his age to get in there? They already fake doxed me, but I'm still here and fighting. Face doxed me. Yeah, just also, be careful of what information you put out on the internet, okay? Especially publicly versus privately. That's another piece of advice I would give to anyone, adult or young, especially if you're younger. Be very careful with what you put on the internet.
Into it. This is from her original DeviantArt account. Now, I'm not going to say that the way Susie was treated was still correct. Obviously, I'm not. But everything Susie has said now about just about anything now is under question. Because you see, I can understand not always minding your p's and q's around kids. It's one thing even when I didn't have Senate and we allowed kids in to some point. Um, we struggled with certain people not minding their p's and q's, and that's why some people got banned flatly. And to an extent, maybe I can understand about their involvement and failure in the FCK, but all this combined, I don't know if I can believe anything she says at this point, because there's now a repeated pattern of behavior of her willfully not picking up what is being put in front of her, instead opting for the path of least resistance. And part of the community as a whole, not just the SCC, but also ACC and general commentary, is you can't just ignore awful things. You have to confront them. And sometimes you have to meticulously pick them apart, piece by piece. And sometimes you just got to beat them to death. This was the latter. George Raccoon should have stayed, ran out of the community, because on top of all this, he let him cry about this in his own thread for 3 or 4 years after all this. Well, I was falsely accused. Susie cleared me. No, Susie went to bat for a freak, and I still don't know why. I don't know how Susie looked at all that data and said, yes, he is innocent. Because in the call we had, she said, well, I thought grooming was a specialized or specified thing. And to a case, that can be true, except for the fact that this guy admitted, I chose these children and it was specifically for my fetish. I don't know how much more specific you need to get, frankly. Did I don't know if in Susie's weird mind, the guy had to say, yes, I want to meet up at your house, meet me at this time. I don't know how far that went. There's still a lot of questions we have, but the server audit is going to take quite a bit of time. It's been around at least since 2017, 2018, and while it had at max at any point apparently 50 members at any time, oh my God, these people wouldn't shut up. And even worse is there are multiple not safe for work rooms there. I don't know what was posted when. I'm gonna have to try to help get somebody who knows metadata to come in and look at this sucker, because I wouldn't be surprised now if children were involved in these conversations in rooms either.
Okay, I stand corrected. I stand corrected. I have an L to take, folks. There were NSFW chats in the Cloud Palace, and potentially there were children in there. We don't know yet, potentially. So, again, keep that big word in mind, potentially. We don't know yet, but there were NSFW chats in the server. So I was flat out wrong previously. Okay, gonna take that L right now. There were NSFW chats. We don't know yet if there's minors that had access to it or were in there. We're probably going to find out what kind of things that they were sharing in there at the very least. Oh boy, it's going to be real fun, especially because the group is made by fucking Doodle diapers, Doodle tones, and Avi had a fucking sneeze fetish. We're going to see all kinds of things, I bet. But hopefully there were no minors. That's bottom line. Hopefully there were no minors that had access to it.
So it's an entire mess. I hate it, but it needs to be done, and it's better to clear out this septic wound than to let it continue to fester and hurt more people. At this point, we're going to be trying to figure out how to determine if other things have been hidden, overlooked, or beaten out of the way because I guess some adults can't be adults. And go from there, and hopefully we can help clear up things and bring people some peace. Because good God, this is so ugly and stupid that it never needed to be.
Okay, the only part that's essentially left of the art community, okay, of the old guard of the art community, are people that actually talk about art. Because there is a distinct separate, I guess, slowly separating, okay, sort of like the separating the wheat from the chaff, okay? There is a, from the chaff, there's this separate group of people that do focus mostly on art and only occasionally gossip. And that's what I would slot Thuman into that role there because most of her videos are about art and less about gossip. Um, but there are art commentary people that actually do talk about art. It's just they're not the loud people, so you don't really see as much from them. And they've been sort of distancing themselves as much as possible from this dying husk. Okay, so maybe we might see an emergence of something that's actually art commentary, hopefully. But at the same time, like I've been dealing with this for 4 or 5 years. I've seen this, habit in this cycle of an Ouroboros again and again and again. I have next to no hope. Burn it to the ground.
If people just, I don't know, grew up a little bit, frankly. Because one of the problems here, personal pet peeve, looking through these doggone logs, everybody and their mom had super
Oh my god. Deep Sea Monster said, a diaper, sneeze, and magic chair fetishes walk into a bar. Okay. Oh, that's a good setup for a punchline. The actual ACC peeps do art and stuff. The ACC that we deal with are kind of art slash T channel things.
obsessive triggers. So there's entire conversations that are just spoiler text. What is it for? Well, a name was said I didn't like. I'm just going to say it here.
Oh my. Oh, oh my god. Oh, okay. I should have known that was gonna be a thing in the server. I should have known. I should have known because Sage is Lazy had essentially many of the same people that were from the SCC in that server, and they also had a similar thing going on. And you also got to think a lot of the people that are in this server were in Darkness Stone server, and if you've seen the FCK Maxim, you know how bad Darkness Stone server was. He was, mind you, Darkness Stone was a member of Cloud Palace, and we're going to be chatting about him when we do get to the Cloud Palace, because that is in and of itself its own little rabbit hole. Same thing. You know, if you remember his server and the whole unsafe, uncomfortable thing, all that shit, like same thing going on. But the fact that they're censoring people's names, I, I mean, it's not shocking. It's just disappointing.
Here, and I know sometimes the server gets grief for being soft. If a single name makes you lose your mind to the point of an actual panic, brother, log off and get help. You don't need to be online. I'm not even joking. I'm deadly serious. It has been ridiculous. To be clear, Fairweather, I don't know and I don't care because she's not going to be around at all. We at one point have scheduled one more conversation with her because
Hello, Sparrow. How are you?
we have other questions we want to try to get answered, and then she will be gone. I am currently the only person to my knowledge that has any connection with her because there are things I need to get from her. And after that, that's it. I don't want to see her online. I don't want to talk to her. I don't want any aspect of ever having to reach out to her. She has done so much damage all the time in Cloak and Dagger, in other calls where I've helped her clean up her community, knowing full well in the back of her mind she pulled this stunt and said nothing. I can I can understand people trying to own their crap. I can, but this is a bit beyond that. Look, I'm not going to pretend like I've always been the best. We all know that. Um,
I I I'm doing just fine. Okay, I got a bit of a cough, and I don't know where it's coming from. But aside from that, I'm fine.
the Rosa call is a good example of that. The way I treated Jibs was an excellent example. Sometimes I needed to get smacked in the mouth, but seriously, arguing for a groomer to come back, giving you space, I can't. I can't, and I'm done. I'm done.
You mad brother with a 4.99 says like this stream. You know, he's making a fair point. I have to agree because we are sitting at 28 likes with 125 viewers. You know, this is you guys are not pulling your weight around here. Okay? Just fucking with you guys. You're fine. I do appreciate the likes.
So her legacy is not going to end with she was asked to leave by victims. Her legacy is going to end with she covered for a groomer and weaseled him back into a community, and that's going to be the end of Susie's legacy online.
No, no, Susie is not in the skull. I don't even think Susie is in Cat's lair.
She can get her GED and get a job, because unfortunately, there's very little in the terms of legality that can be pushed here. So can't handle it from the legal perspective either. So far, now we don't know what we're going to find in her server because it's got over 100 doggone rooms in it.
From what I've been told, and I think from what Lio said to me as well in private, Doodles did get the victims to apologize, which is fucking insane to me. But you know, I I can't pretend to be surprised for you all. All I can do is laugh at the absurdity of it.
So yes, I am very mentally well right now and not exactly at all exhausted. So yes, it has not been fun. Uh,
Okay, Sparrow, I do have this question. Uh, do you remember when you had your sort of doodle, as I call used to call it, the doodle drone phase? Okay, and yet here you are. You graduated just not too long ago. Doodles has no diploma, no GED. Okay, like whew, you. I'm just almost 30. You know, like I. All right, let's continue.
yes, Hidden. I actually did. I actually did mention it. You know, seriously, how do you look at a Snow White dress and the guy say it's a fetish and not think that dude's a freak? Not just because look,
Dead Reckoning with a $5 said, wait, Doodles doesn't have GED and doesn't have a job, Lamau. Dude is almost 30 living in his family's basement. Yes. Yes. Unironically, yes.
Thigh highs and short skirts all day long. I get that. But a 13.
Yes, still living with grandma, and grandma knows about the diaper stuff. So does the little brother. It's, you know what? I'm not getting into that. We're just going to keep going.
That outfit a 13-year-old wears, like, what is wrong with you? This feels like Homer trying to make that grill. No. Feel like me trying to make that grill with super glue and
Check the Doodle Tones wiki. You know what? I'll check the Doodles wiki. Hold on. Because Doodle's wiki is on there. The date of birth, I believe, is on there. Doodle Tones, SCC wiki. Watch, they're gonna update the article. If they already haven't, they're gonna update this article to make it look like they forced Doodles out of the community. Not that they left on their own volition. Oh, the birthday is not listed here. Okay. I know it's listed, I think, on the Kiwi Farms. We're gonna find out. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. Mystery machine this shit. Oh, this is taking forever to load. Have I ever told you that you're funny as hell? I don't think so, but I appreciate it. It means a lot. Okay, so 28. 28. No diploma, no GED, no job, grandma's basement. All right. Keep in mind, an entire community fawned over this person. Fawned. Okay, was in awe being able to share just even a voice call with them. I, and we wonder why the community is the way it is, right? That's shocking. I gotta pretend to be surprised by that. Unemployed final boss. You know what? They love Persona 5. We need to get like some Persona 5 boss music up in here, right? Or some Ace Attorney. They love Ace Attorney, Persona 5, Danganronpa. What's another one they really love? Mario background music, right? That's another one they really love to use. Mind you, I applied for my SCD the day after I graduated, so I'm working on college too before Susie even gets her GED. Yes, yes, it's bad. It's bad. Uh, Wait, Birdie's almost old enough to drink. All right, let's continue this.
duct tape. Oh, the thing is, the threads, there's also threads. There's also freaking threads.
Yeah, that's true.
So it is worse. It is rooms and threads. I hate it here. I hate it here. Yes, private and public. I don't, guys. I don't have full answers about the Cloud Palace. The server's massive. I have not dug through it. I can't by myself. I can't.
The server is old as fuck
I just
too.
can't. And of course, this is what Thuman rises from her slumber to see. So, Thuman, how we were talking, maybe Susie could come back. Yeah, she can't now. No, she needs to stay very far gone forever until the White Throne judgment stay gone. Look, I get you guys want me to also talk about Heaton, but like there are things currently going on there, and I'd rather not make any definitive public statements until data has been reached. With Susie, there's enough to condemn her forever at this point. So, how long will that be in video length? I need a rough estimate for how much this is now. I have no clue. I don't know.
Okay, let me pay attention to chat real quick.
I'm going to be putting out some of the calls, just essentially be a front runner for the video Julie's planning on doing. Julie's going to be more specific and in depth. I'm just essentially the appetizer on that one because
A sparrow, are you
I don't know.
saying that's like is it like tossing a flashbang or is it like your head jerk around kind of thing? What is it? Is it a flashbang, a mental flashbang, or is it like like a banging? I don't know. Is it like do you get the goosebumps when it's said? Does it spook you? Got my money up. It's like both. Dead Reckoning with a $20. Oh, bro, calm down. This dude LARPed as a girl. People thought that is how Doodles looked, and there were dudes that were thirsting for him on his Kiwi. You can see his real picture in his old video game reviews with his real voice. I don't know about anyone thirsting over Doodle. That'd be, you know what? I haven't seen the Cloud Palace. I bet you there's some thirsting in the Cloud Palace. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Why would I deny that? Like, I have no reason to be shocked. Dead noise, really? Really, Gilded? Dead air, really? You're gonna try and fuck with me? Put your money up, not your funny up, Dante. From Rip the Anglerfish with $2. All right, let's get back to this.
For it. Julie does. Julie's going to get help with that. I'm just going to do what I can. To my recollection, Susie's covering for Nezzy was in so much as my friend, and I wanted to believe them. Now,
Lynched air. Microaggression. Microaggression. Banned.
could that be a lie at this point? Yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't even know. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, whether friend or enemy at this point. And yeah, Susie abused that clearly.
Okay, here's the thing. I really don't like Lio being a fence sitter on this. Okay, and I say this because, okay, let's put it like this. I can put it as simple and as easy as this. Susie's on record, on video, and in multiple calls, telling everyone that they knew about Toasty and how bad it was, at least for the most part, when Rin's video came out October of 2020. Yet, when that video is talked about in Ponder's server, and Doodles is seeing Nezzy deny and proclaim that everyone in there were adults. Therefore, Toasty wasn't showing minors porn, because where he was spamming porn, they were totally apparently all adults. Doodles then proceeds to question what evidence I have for the porn spam behavior that Doodles knew of and is on record stating that they knew of that by that point. So that alone should tell you That was very obviously just playing along because it would be inconvenient to sit there and go, well, actually, when fucking Nezzy's blatantly lying about it.
And I actually can't even eat Red Lobster biscuits right now.
Exactly. Sparrow said it best. That's just the environment that Toasty created. There was no surprise when I brought that up. No surprise at all. None. Just so casual.
Yeah, right. I take a step back. Maybe in this, I got a billion other things, but still, this is something that's going to take time.
Yeah, Sparrow coming in with the amazing quotes. Word for word, bar for bar.
I okay. The thing is, if I say I'm going to have to nuke a community, why in the world will I sit here and tell people the idea? I'd rather Amadeus them and implement it before they could have a chance to even stop it.
It's interesting. It's still interesting how Toasty just returns right when it was getting heated with Nezzy and the new information on the FCK server. I don't know if I can speak. There's things that I know that will be coming to light, but I don't know if I can share them with you. But let's just say Toasty seems to think they have an angle at this, but they don't. That's all I'm going to say. Bruce Boinkers, wait, the SCC/ACC being horny, color me shocked. People being massive sims in private or public about fictional concepts. No, perish the thought. If I could convey any more sarcasm, I would.
Goofy question. I don't. Okay, I'm going to be that guy. Although I do care for you quite a bit, clown. I I don't I don't know. My focus isn't even on the diaper stuff. Like it never has been. Uh, but I did.
Okay, and here's something else that Lio and a lot of people seem to miss about the diaper stuff. The only reason, and I mean this, the only reason people have ever given a fuck about the diaper shit is because Doodles has consistently lied about it. And not only that, but the people around Doodles has consistently tried to lie about it. 2017, 2018, I showed this in the recentism report. That's not even all the clips out there about that, by the way. I have screenshots from audience members and so forth, all kinds of stuff. But that's not audience members are less important. Not to throw shade at you all, but I mean, I blame the actual people that surrounded Doodles and were confronted with this information and still claimed that it was false. Most of the audience members probably just haven't seen it. So I'm not gonna blame those ones. That's why when I talk about audience members and I name specific ones, those are ones that I know better and have been informed and continue to push false claims because it's better for the moment. And so there are individuals in the slideshow community that are also a part of Doodle's audience that have defended this despite knowing that it was complete bullshit. In fact, one of the biggest reasons that caused me to get banned from Darkness Stone was because I wasn't letting them bullshit me about the diaper fetish, and they demanded I provide evidence for it, and I did, and for the diaper role playing, and that's what led to them proclaiming I made people feel uncomfortable and got my ass banned for. They said I wasn't providing evidence, then I provide the evidence, then I get punished for doing so, get barred out of the drama chat, then quietly banned, because Darkness Stone doesn't have the stones, okay, to message me and say, hey, you're getting banned. No, I get quietly banned for making people feel uncomfortable. And then he's shocked that I'm using alts to see what's being said in a server that says all kinds of batshit crazy things about me. But point is, people have made excuses constantly, and the main reason why people have had any fascination with this with the diaper fetish is because if you're going to consistently lie about something for years, it's going to like reflect on you. Okay, for example, my timeline mistake that Ponder corrected. If I continued to proclaim that my timeline was correct, despite the evidence showing otherwise, that would reflect on me. And that would showcase that I can't take an L and admit when I'm wrong, and B, that I'm continuing to lie about something because I've been confronted with the evidence otherwise, and I've tossed it aside and continued to proclaim otherwise. That would reflect on me. That's the exact same thing with the diaper fetish. This is something that has been lied about and denied, and constant excuses that have been given don't add up. The first excuse that was given was, well, I was uncomfortable. I didn't know how to speak up for myself. I didn't know how to set boundaries. Um, and yet Doodles returned on an alt account to continue that role play. The other one that was given, which actually there's a person in my Discord server that uh, captured this screenshot. Doodles essentially used the 1,000-year-old lolly argument. Doodles said that the character didn't have a human age. It didn't age like normal human, people as we do, which doesn't make any sense because you describe the character as physically 10 or physically 8 or physically 9, and some characters is like 6, I think. So it's the 1,000-year-old lolly argument, basically, is what that came down to. So there's been a variety of really bad arguments that Doodles has used, and then it eventually boiled up to the I was groomed into it, but I was into it before the grooming, and that's where things have sort of exploded. That's why people find the fetish conversation interesting, because the deceit, and the deceit does reflect because it's been consistent, but also inconsistent at the same time. Because the second that lie doesn't work, it moves on to a new one, and a new one, and a new one. And Lio seems to really miss that point. Okay, it's not people simply wanting to use the fetish just to mock Doodles. Okay, that's the outside packaging. Okay, just for funsies. That's just for funs. Okay, it's the deceit.
Did again, I don't know if you're new to the call because I know you're at work, but we found out that Doodle diapers was something she coined in 2014. It was not Metaker's crew who did it. Fantastic. Brilliant. Love it here. There are 126 people here. Good Lord, you people need jobs.
Exactly, Sparrow. I didn't know how to set boundaries, but when Leo had this problem, he was apparently lying about being groomed or some shit by George. It goes back to the same thing I've always said, and I said actually earlier before doing this stream. These people wear their standards like clothing. Whatever is convenient and whatever makes them look good for the day. Simple as that.
And I'm sending something to somebody real quick. And I'm still being tagged. Do-do, 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 do-do. Okie dokie, what did I get tagged in? Chat's going so fast. The diaper stuff shouldn't be a focus at all. However, it does give a bit of context to why she dismissed things she doesn't consider sexual. Thing is, about that, she can't even use that as an excuse here because in the freaking doc, in both the victim's doc and the freak's doc, they both say this is sexual. So not there is no wiggle room on that. None, none. Oh God, the bird. I have been wanting to get the stinking video out for days, but I've been swamped. Okay, I will run this. I will run this through because Thuman is here, and I like Thuman. I will run this through again. In 2019, George Raccoon was exposed for grooming children via drawing them and incorporating them into his fetish work for art, including disappearing acts and Snow White's dress for whatever deranged reason. Somehow these were sexually exciting things for him. Susie found out about this, did not like it, that it was being painted as grooming, and for 2 years was gaslighting and convincing people that George was innocent, making it to where her inner circle was more cozied up to him and to the idea of him coming back. And did a video in 2021 where it essentially the TLDR is he's not a groomer because the victim didn't state a boundary. The literal child didn't state boundaries. And at that point, she let the freak into her direct spaces. He rebranded it under a new name. All of his victims apologized to him, and he was allowed to cry bitter baby rage tears about being accused for the past 4 years. And Susie remembering and knowing this in the back of her mind the entire time I've been helping her rout creeps out of her community, sat there like she had done nothing wrong. His new name is Horace Tomes. Now, Julie and I were supposed to confront him the past 2 nights. He has ran off, apparently. He will reappear at some point, in which case I have every plan in the world to bully the leaving daylights out of him. Let me see here. Who else can call? Need to make sure I'm not stepping over a certain toe. One moment. How do I do this? I doggone it. Okay. So I can't do something to somebody and call. I have no way PG of saying this, and there are people who have triggers, so I'm not gonna say what I want to. But anyways, do we have any questions right now? Because I know it said talking about Susie and Heaton, but like the Heaton stuff takes such a backstreet concerning all this other crap. Not that what she's done isn't horrible, like it is, but still. Lunchtime is whenever you choose it to be. The TLDR on Heaton is Heaton participated in the further victimization of 3 individuals because Chuli came out.
Am I going to watch the new Bunny Chan bullying? Hey, Zoomer. Who are you calling Zoomer? I guess maybe, do I fit in this? I think I fit in this. I don't. Yeah, I think I would be a Zoomer. Yeah. Yeah. Ain't no party like the Cloud Palace party. Everybody just have a good time. Party rockers in the house tonight. Uh, Bunny Chan bullying. I don't know what you're referring to. I feel like I missed out on something. I don't know.
With reports about Fagos nonsense, and there's videos on that you can go check out, where Fagos manipulated, gaslit, lied to people, and convinced them that they were responsible for the death of a person who doesn't even exist.
I was gonna make a joke, you know, about girl bossing it because Fagos then supposedly is like trans or some shit. I can't fucking keep up. But yeah, no, I made this point too. I just want to state this now. The people that like Heaton, Nezzy, and all of them that really wanted to side with Faghost and defend Faghost, it's astonishing to me that little tiny things get blown out of proportion into vastly different things. But then when someone decides to manipulate their friends, okay, and to deceive their friends by like a completely premeditated, deceitful, and manipulative narrative, okay, that has to be methodically planned out to convince and fool people by creating fake evidence, fake claims, and fake documents, and fake people to reach out to for his friends to speak to, all of that just to fool them and get them roped into his weird self-punishing ritual, okay? That is methodical, okay? That is on the level of like, I don't want to say a psychopath here because I don't want to armchair diagnose, but that's fucking crazy, okay? But it's a crazy that is planned out. And it's I would want to say it's frightening. It's just it's sad, it's pathetic, but it's also it's freakish. It wasn't an irrational impulse thing that Fagos did. No, Fagos planned it out and got his friends roped in on that. And Nezzy and Heaton were like, this is someone we should reintroduce to the community. But people that do way less shit or that they falsely accuse, they want gone. They want ruined. They want ousted. Everything else. It's completely fucking asinine to me. And these are the same people that lecture others about empathy and present empathy as a virtue. But then, out of all the people that should have got, Chuli was like what 16, and Fegos got the empathy. The person that did the premeditated planning out and falsely accusing himself of something horrible and getting his friends to believe that and making them feel like they needed to stay silent and deal with the weight of that on their chest. He gets the fucking sympathy, the empathy. Fucking asinine, ridiculous, utterly. It's not insanity. It's just it's lunacy.
because Fagos made up stories about themselves in order to, and I quote, cancel themselves, and menaced Chuli, who was a minor at the time, in calls and other ways to try to control the narrative. Chuli had enough at one point, did a video calling all this out, and you would assume this community, who cares so very much about victims, would rally behind Chuli and let her know it's going to be okay. No, they blame Chuli and dogpiled on Chuli because Chuli was just being too mean to Fagos. What if Fagos kills themselves? And threads were made. Chuli was isolated, badgered every time it was brought up, and TLDR, Heaton didn't want to own it. And even when I was confronting Heaton, trying to get, trying to get Heaton to own things and having that conversation, it came into, well, I'm going to kill myself, TLDR, at any topic of this conversation. And it became a Peaches situation. And I'm not doing that anymore. She has been running from this accountability for 4 years now, when she has been preaching accountability for years as well. Now, I know I preach about accountability.
Yeah, we need to know how much their empathy meter bar is filled up compared to iDubbbz. We need to know this comparison, exact comparison, for research purposes.
Too, but I'll own the crap I've done. Heaton has not wanted to, and I, for the life of me, can't understand why. It's not that difficult. I don't hold up. I tank through. And I'm sure I butchered that story, but I am exhausted. Now, do we have any actual questions related to the subject?
And here's the kicker. The reasons and their justifications for going at Chuli, they didn't fucking care for it all. They didn't care for it all. Victory lapping, of all people, Heaton wants to talk about how you don't victory lap, or what was it? What was another one? Heaton doesn't like when you try and police her feelings. Like, really? Okay, whatever.
Yes, embrace the anger. Embrace the butter. The serious.
Dead Reckoning with the $2. The good old I'ma kill myself SCC trap card. Yes. You place the card, and when anyone questions you or gives you just a little bit of pushback, the card activates. The trap card activates, and it tugs. It punches you right in the feels, right in the kisser, right in those emotions, just like a uppercut, like a just right up in there, like Johnny Cage's nut punch, where he drops down, does the splits, and hits you in the nuts, kind of like that. AC motherfuckers go after literal teenagers that make them mad instead of genuine degenerates and predators. Yeah. The priorities are completely ass backwards. You say something mean on Twitter, and they will try and like burn everything in relation to you and like throw every accusation they can at you. Doesn't matter if it's false. In fact, they'll concoct false accusations. They'll Photoshop evidence. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But if you bamboozle your friends with a planned out like plot to fake to falsely accuse yourself of sexually harassing two people and one of your victims taking their own lives. Oh, whew, you're hurt soul. You're just a hurt soul, and we need to reintroduce you back to the community. Okay, you're just in a lot of pain. You're just in a lot of pain. You're just a hurt, mentally disturbed individual. And the people victory lapping about no longer being around you, whew, they're horrible human beings. We should reintroduce you into their life. Let you apologize, get you back up in there, because that's what they want. But we care about how people feel, right?
Seriously, you need to get that anger out because you've been holding it in way too long. All right. Do we have any other questions? Is Susie private her videos? Because actually, no. I'll tell you why Susie privated her videos. Chuli confronted Susie about her 9-hour video on Nekakota because it was cataloging a lot of Neko's behavior when she was a child, and Julie thought that was out of pocket. And Susie took from that, well, you can't talk about.
Mind you, Doodles can make a 9-hour video on one singular person that they had been beefing with and keeping track of, whether it be the things Neko Koda was publicly and privately saying. That wasn't stalking and harassment. Me keeping track of what a group of people is doing because I'm having to deal with them. That's stalking and harassment. You were there for that call. The SCC's weakness is minors with pushback, Lamau. No, I'm not saying the Neko Koda video is bad or anything. I'm saying that the selectivity in the slideshow community is a problem. Susie was so stupid in that. I'm hoping it gets published because I didn't know of it until now.
Anyone who's wronged you and just privated everything. Guys, I don't know how many victims were affected. I can't tell you that. Too many. One's too many. Susie can't hide or cover anything up at this point because, again, where most of this happens, Cloud Palace, and I own it, and she's not in it anymore.
Oh, he owns it. Okay.
Of course, there's a possibility of more guilty parties. That's what the audit's going to be for. Sorry, Moon. I am not rewinding it a third time. Somebody's got it recorded. I'm sure it'll be posted.
Mink.
I'm tired. No, I did not give Cloud Palace to Akumu. Why would I give it to Akumu? They'll find out the data just like everybody else will. I told you. Hurry.
Dead Reckoning with another 5. Okay, man. And he said the double standard rules for you, but not for me. That's another reason the alt CC became a thing. Oh yeah, the only rule these people follow, the only true and real rule they have is rules for thee, but not for me. That's it. Everything else is based on the moment.
Oh my goodness, man.
Neo Umbrella.
We found out because Julie mentioned in her Avi video about George Raccoon and Avi trying to say, well, he's not a pedophile, and because I do the same thing, and clearly I'm not one. Then later
Yeah,
on,
he has been saving up for this live
month,
stream.
Julie got tagged in an art piece by Horace, who is George Raccoon. She recognized the art style and was befuddled at the fact that he was still around, and got her answer by
Justice for Akumu and his journalism career. Thank you.
finding out about that video. Brother, what makes you think I've stayed calm? I'm just better at hiding it now. This isn't Akumu's place. He'll find out when everybody else does, but I'm not gonna involve him in this to that degree. That wouldn't be right.
Aww.
Yes, and I'm not going to directly answer that right now, Platinum. Everybody who we have contact with,
I'm hoping,
who is from the Cloud Palace, knows what's happened. Data spreads pretty quickly in this tiny little community. Look, I'm not the one you guys need to feel sorry for. Honestly, it's for the victims who have been forced to be quiet for 4 years because this little freak was let back in instead of being told to find a bridge and do his own disappearing act.
Very based. You could get a doctorate for studying all these people. You know, one thing I like to do And I feel like, when we're all dead and in the ground, right? And this, because like we already dig through the old internet of like the, 80s and 90s. And so think about this, when we're all dead in the ground, there's going to be people that are just do this as a hobby and dig through like ancient, internet and stumble across all this. And it's just going to be this neat little rabbit hole for them to go through. And good luck to them trying to understand all this and make sense of it, you know? Like, more power to them. But what I like to do when for example, if you guys have seen the recent TISM report, for some reason I get like, these odd, like comparisons I want to make. And so, like, the psychology point and why people defended Doodles despite seeing and knowing, like, Automagic Critic, for example, who previously confronted Doodles and brought up the diaper fetish and yet was years later trying to deny it. I was like, oh, that reminds me of the Ash conformity experiments, and I thought that was a relevant point because I feel like that it helps make sense of some things that are really weird and odd about people and social groups. And another instance I brought it up was in the FCK maxim, the fact that these people take advantage of peddling false claims across the board so that it comes across as more convincing. That's a real psychological phenomenon to convince people. So I like bringing stuff like that up, you know, try and make it a study of sorts because, like, otherwise, I want to spice some things up.
And there's more worse things. And yes, I've seen the group chat. I'm just there's a lot of
Evan, it's taken longer than needed, but I'm wrapping things up. Okay, I'm wrapping things up.
stuff. There's a lot of stuff.
I'm having fun.
When we get some information out, I will decide who needs to be in there. What I'd like to get is people from our community and not so it's not just purely biased parties. Frankly,
uh, Mosquito voice will be questioned by people putting into the research for sure. That's fair. I don't want biased parties, and I get that. That's the thing I didn't want Lio getting involved with. Um, so I don't mind the wait, that or circumventing it, either or. It is what it is. But I think we both have different interests in talking about it and focuses. Because I know very little about this George Raccoon stuff, and from what I've been told, Lio and I think Chuli plan on discussing it. So until they discuss it, I don't know much about it. I don't have all of the resources on hand. I've looked for the Google document, and maybe I'm retarded. Okay, I could just be retarded, but I haven't found it yet. I should probably honestly check Twitter. Someone's probably put it. That's the one place I haven't checked. I should probably check Twitter. Um, but yeah.
at least this time we don't have to work with exports. We just have the whole server, and they believe.
But yeah, mosquito voice will be questioned by people putting into the research for sure. It's like a mosquito voice or like a fly. No, it's like the Baxter Stockman voice.
Susie's so compulsive she didn't delete anything. I know because when I hopped in the server, the first thing I checked was the audit log. Yes, you are. Yes, you are busy. Don't even. Well, every Discord server has an audit log.
Banker Neon Nova with a 10 Canadian dollars says, "Let Akumu in to cover it. Don't keep it in his little cell." I'm being compared to 9/11. Okay, to the ACC.
Gotcha.
Oh, Kristen Ark has the video.
Wait, is
Okay.
that
I don't mean the video. I mean the document. I want the document itself.
I actually need to check in on that person. I haven't heard from them in a while. I mean, I do like avocado. All right. Is there anything else you guys need to ask of actual importance?
Deadhead says you should be given the logs. If Lyle's afraid of bias, you don't have any considering you hate everyone in there equally. Um, it's because Lio and the Senate insist that I make bad faith assumptions of people. And here's the problem I have with that, okay? Their example of my bad faith assumptions. Sure, I'll take the L on the accusation of Lio being behind that NSFW account. Okay? That's my L to take right there. Completely on me. However, the other assumptions I made throughout that year were educated predictions because people were coming to me telling me what Lio and Doodles and Nezzy were up to. And secondly, the main one that they seemed to have a problem with initially turned out to be completely true. Nezzy did have the Slimmers porn chat removed because Ben was threatening the group. She admitted this. She hinted to it in Thuman's interview, and then she flat out admitted it to Lyle. And they gave me a lot of shit for that when I covered it, and people in Senate and Catslayer and the SCC were thinking I had nothing. It was a nothing burger of a point. So it, I don't really see it, but it is what it is. When Akumu hit the ACC towers. I want to say Lyle wants to get to it first, which is fine, it's whatever. Either way, I'm going to talk about that server. One way or another. One way or another. I'm sinking my grubby hands and claws in there. Didn't every one of them also make bad faith arguments against you, even though people showed them proof that you were telling the truth? Yeah. Interestingly enough, they love to talk about how I had bad faith intentions and I was being dishonest, but they couldn't cite a single time that I lied. Doodle's only example of me presenting things dishonestly was two things: that I was correcting my misinformation. I don't understand that one. And secondly, that I was telling you all ahead of time what they were gonna do. So I I don't get it. You were spot on with Kabuto Yakushi with $2. Thank you. Said you were spot on with everything you said though. Bad faith translated to we don't want you to point out our hypocrisy. Yes, I would love to hear something crazy, Sparrow. I would love to. I love crazy shit. No, I agree with you, Portobello. It's not a race. It's not. But wait, what? Which is wild, and she cared more about you than she did about him, just in general. Uh, Sparrow, I'm a little confused. I feel like one of your messages didn't send. I see the you want to hear something crazy, and then which is wild. A dead reckoning with another five. To quote Arnold Schwarzenegger, prepare for a bitter harvest. Winter has come at last. Okay, I need to like your guys's. Yeah, I'm a little confused on what you're talking about, Sparrow. I might be a little retarded, but I'm a little confused. Are you talking about Nezzy? There were hundreds more messages talking about you than there were about Sherman. A doxer, yeah, yeah. My favorite thing about the Sherman thing was that Nezzy admitted. Oh, Chuli's in chat. Hi, Chuli. Hello. Total Chuli victory. But Nezzy admitted that Sherman was after her before any of everything because of being associated with Doodles, and yet they find out that I have a conversation with him, and instantaneously they hop on it like white on rice, like flies to shit. Okay, like a bitch in heat. Like immediately, oh, he had a conversation with the guy. All right, what do we do here? Let's accuse him of having the guy try and hack into my PayPal. No evidence for this, but he spoke with the guy, and that's all we need. And people ate that shit right up. Ate it up. Loved it. Loved it. They loved it. The SCC especially were, big fans of Mad Libs' video where they pushed that. I need to hear this call, Sparrow. You talk about it. Will it ever? Is it public? Do you have it? If could you pass it to me? I'd love to hear it. Um, Everyone in that server treated Akumu like he was a literal cancer. I came back last year and absolutely cleared house. It was definitely needed. It was, and honestly, like seeing one how the SEC treated you, and then how they've just completely crumbled apart because you've spoken about it. It's beautiful. It's it's a work of art. Let me continue this.
Uh, a lot of stuttering and a lot of apologies where they were there and told, "Shut up," and then yelled at 4 different times to leave the call.
Oh, okay. Oh my.
Yeah, um, was not a fun call. Well, I mean, it's of course it's going to be made public. It's a
No, no, AI could not write this. I don't even think if I was to sit down and I write, okay, partial. I've even made money from writing before. If I were to sit down and try and write a story, I don't think I could really accurately make people so dislikable. Okay. Um, because they will do things and then draw the line in the sand and then completely just, fuck it. It doesn't matter. Who cares, right? And then you're sitting there going, but you just said, and you just condemned this person for that. And it's because they have this I'm different mentality. None of my standards apply to me. And so when you point these things out, or you start to question the logic and the rationale, they crumble like wet cardboard or sand, like an Oreo in milk. Okay, like they just crumble apart.
it's a public server, so it's whatever. More is being brought into question. Like I said earlier, guys, I'm going to choke people. How do you? The thing is, she can't really take accountability in any way other than leaving at this point, and she's not. She's leaving, but even if she didn't decide to, I'd run her.
A movie adaptation. I mean, these people do treat this shit like it's Game of Thrones. Like unironically, they do. They do a lot of plotting, a lot of scheming, um, and are very deceptive and conniving. And as much as they insist that I'm spiteful and petty and I hold grudges, I'm entirely transparent about me being spiteful and my grudges and me being petty. These people try and hide their spite, their conniving, their grudges over smaller things. Mind you, keep in mind, everything that I've had issues with have been I've been falsely accused, lambasted for years, and like that's it. I don't care about casual little jokes. I really don't. Um, but then they will get like made fun of a little bit, right? Or someone will say something they disagree with, and then they just hone in privately on how to fuck that person as much as possible, whether it's right or wrong. However, I'm because I'm open about, my spite and my pettiness over my experience of the false accusations and the entire smear campaign I dealt with. I'm in the wrong, but they're in the right for the fact that they'll you know get someone says something to disagree with and they're like, oh my god, we need to oust you from this fucking community right now. You dislike this person who did a horrible thing to you. I like them. Who the fuck do you think you are? That's what these people are like. Dead reckoning with $2. Oh, the gay ops happened. Plenty of them. Yes, yes they did.
Hurrah. Yes, we do, Thuman. We we already have archives. It's been there for a while.
Jonah Hill's jar. Oh my god.
No, unfortunately, um, Mink, I don't think it's that. I think it's just that when you're trying to do things like this, people just troll shield. It's the fact of the matter. The circle gets smaller every day, but I guess that's a plus, I suppose.
I'm doing fine, Rafik.
I'm hoping to release some of the calls. They're going to be edited down because there's data in there that people just don't need to hear. I'm going to be letting the people externally, like on the channel, know hopefully this weekend, unless something else
Hold on.
comes
If
up.
there's crying,
It's
don't you
it's a
cut that.
mess.
Don't you cut that.
Well, the thing is, like the promise was never.
I'm so sleepy, I must go to bed, but have a fun rest of your stream. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate that. And bye, chat. Thanks for saying hi to me. W Julie in chat, please. Deep Sea Monster, completely true. Completely true. They like unironically, the people in, um, you know, Senate and Cat's Lair and the Cloud Palace and so forth, they draw the line at pronouns. It's bottom line for them. You don't do that in you're like evil, okay? Um, but they can say some heinous shit about people, right? And it's okay. It's acceptable.
Never to get offline. It was to not utilize her platforms, which she didn't. Um, it's a mess, and I hate it here. But thankfully, I have some experience in construction, so I know how to clean messes. Well, Gojiro, good example. Try not to see YouTubers as role models. It's a
I
pain.
agree.
If there's something about
I
them you
agree,
like,
man.
internalize that, but don't look at them as though they are paragons. None of us are,
Real as fuck.
even though some of us try.
You should. The point is, you shouldn't. You shouldn't try to be a paragon. Okay. Just don't. Don't present yourself as perfect. Don't present yourself as a figurehead. Okay. If people will look to you, they'll look to you. But don't try not to feed into it. Right. Like try not to do that. Try especially like one thing I like to reiterate commonly and as often as I can is question if you're invested, question things. It doesn't matter who says it. If you think the evidence is fickle, if you think that there's not enough behind the claim, or if there's none at all, because people in this community just love fucking throwing accusations with not a lick of nothing, um, don't buy it.
No, we are not linking the original.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sparrow. I think it would be like me looking at people who do are more have those more progressive politics and then going, nothing you say is of worth. I don't want to hear what you have to say ever. Like that'd be really immature of me, And I don't do that. As you can see, I engage with these people despite having a difference in belief system. I still engage with their claims, and if they're right, I give them full marks for it. Oh, hold on. Cartoon with a $5 said, I may be a groomer, but at least I don't say the R slur. uh, okay, let's wrap this up.
You're going to
Thank
leave
you for
that
the
one
five.
alone
Thank
for
you for the
now.
five.
And we have a reason for that. Leave it be.
I've taken to the coining the term Akumu. Okay, hold on. I've taken to coining the term Akumu cuties for when people dismiss information based on the guy they don't like or politics they don't like. I, I, I'm being named after something, or something's being named with me attached to it. Okay. You heard it here first. Question Akumu. Yeah, of course. If you guys think I don't have enough evidence for it, I'd love either a because you guys one thing I have absolutely loved while working on the series is you guys will notice things I didn't notice. Okay, it's wonderful to be able to include that. Um, like one of my favorites is not Niosaurus creations, I think. Um, and even Lava pointed out um, the information about the diaper fetish and specifically the Doodle diapers nickname. There are things that I don't notice, and I love when you guys notice things or when you see an issue and you point it out. Stuff like that is phenomenal.
Aaron has some things to address as well, but we don't know the extent of it right now. We don't, guys, we don't know everything. The server's massive. We haven't been able to look through all of it. So I'm going to ask you
Yes,
to stop
Sparrow.
asking about individuals. I don't know.
Akumu derangement syndrome. Yeah, looking up to YouTube screws everyone.
Well, who isn't problematic in there? I don't know. From what I've seen, nobody. The big. There's also a big problem of babying the wrong doggone people in this stupid little community. All right. Unless I have any actual questions that are not things that I've repeated a billion times, is there anything else?
I wish I was in that server because I'd be asking questions galore. Okay, I, I'd be I'd be dropping questions left and right, but
Days
it's
like
not gonna
this make
fly.
me wish I had alcohol or that I drink it, but I do not.
Actually, so what it was, uh, edited screenshot. So I believe it was someone in my Discord server, my old one, that had noticed something was off about it, and I couldn't quite figure out what it was either, up until I was comparing screenshots and I went back and I looked at my tweet, my actual tweet with it. I was like, holy shit. I finally figured out what it is. Um, and so, yeah, they helped. They helped. Like, audience members have helped for a long time now. You guys are fucking phenomenal when you notice stuff. Pick up the call, buddy. I'm not being called. What are you talking about?
What in the world do you want?
I just want to say hi. I hope you have the best rest of your day. You're fantastic. That's all.
Thank you.
No problem. I thought you needed to hear that every now and then.
But also, this is why people think you're gay.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons why people think that.
Okay, one of them then.
I
All
had
right.
I had a child go on a rant to me in science class yesterday where
What?
where he was talking about the gay voice and I was like, and you're not gonna diagnose me with that? Okay, cool.
I'm not being called on Discord, so
But yeah,
I don't.
All right then. Well, I'm ending the event. The event. Go do
Are you
whatever you
retarded,
need.
Evan?
Bye, gamers. You're amazing. I hope you know that. I hope you have a great day. That's all.
Okay, I think that's the end of that. So, yeah. Uh, Let me take down the window there and wrap some things up. Yeah, I don't. Oh, there it is. There it is. Hold on. I don't know if this is gonna work. Uh, I don't know if they're gonna be able to hear you. Don't say some shit that's gonna ruin my stream. I've been having fun with this. I don't know.
Been a naughty boy
Oh,
staying up
okay.
past one whole hour.
Okay, okay. That was really loud. That was really fucking loud. Could you guys even hear him? I think I turned my mic up. Wait, not my mic, my headset. Okay, you guys can hear him. Okay. I'm sorry. I did not think he was going to be that loud. I don't know what happened there. I think I turned my headset up and somehow that, I guess, turned up my, okay. Kabuto Yakushi with a $2. Yeah, I heard him, and so did my entire home. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I will think about that next time. Do you guys have any questions before I end the stream? I have the power of the voice. What is this, Dune? Thoughts on 9/11? Oh, horrible thing that I'm not gonna pull a fucking Hassan. Jeez. Didn't think I would hear that when turning into an Akumu stream. I didn't think I'd hear that either. You know, you're about to lose your mod privileges, Evan. Is that what you want? You want to lose your mod privileges? How's it going after all the things that have happened so far? I mean, it's been going good, you know. Um, it, Before I made the series on the community, I already came to the realization that you can't fix it. You know, I had that delusional, naive hope in 2021 that I can make an impact and really improve things. And then I realized you can't really fix it. Shut up, Cash. You should check the Kiwi Farm articles on Lio and Doodle Tones. You got some honorable and many not so honorable mentions. They may amuse you. Really? Okay. Let's see what I'll read some to you guys. Was Manga Comment at all involved with the FCK or the ACC mess? Aside from being a good lapdog, not really, no. Also, keep up the great work, champ. I mean, you did make an impact. 80% are fucking gone. I suppose so. Oh, he's just. Oh, I'm skinwalking someone apparently. This was said May 4th. I'm curious. Who am I skinwalking? Oh, I'm skinwalking Medicare. Oh, okay. I clicked on it. All right, folks. I'm skinwalking Medicare. All right. Oh, I'm I've been also called a gym walker. Uh, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, I've been called a gym walker. A gym walker and a Medicare skinwalker. A gym walker is much funnier, yeah. Well, my gym walker thing was more in reference to Akumu, LOL. The weird, edgy character shit they, Akuma the VR chat nigga, do in their thumbnails are similarly obnoxious, so I suppose I could have clarified that better. Oh, they don't like my thumbnails. Not a fan of the thumbnails. Ooh, the thumbnails offend their sensibilities. Oh, hold on. Let's see here. Oh, they talked about my Dan Stein video. I fucking hate that video so much. There's only one reason that video is still up. Yeah, they're talking about fucking Dan Stein. Offending sensibilities, you say? Yeah, I said that. Didn't know Kiwi Farms had sensibilities. Wow. Well, apparently my thumbnails are not up to standard. Okay? Not up to code. They're like the OSHA of YouTube thumbnails. I'll have to work on that. I'll have to get better at that. Yeah, so far it's mostly just been talking about Dan Stein, okay? Or calling me a skinwalker, that I skinwalk Medicare, or that I'm a gym walker. So, uh, your thumbnails do need a remodel. Okay, well, apparently I'm not skinwalking Jim enough. Okay, I need to figure out how Medicare does his. I really need. I got to do that more. They don't seem to like that. Oh gosh, you fucking freak. Dead Reckoning with another $5. Okay, fucking breaking his pocket over here. For the record, Doodle is now trapped in his grandma's basement without a social network now. He's alone now completely because he's terminally online. Okay. Hello, hi, Sparrow. Hi, yes. Evan, this close. This fucking close to losing your mod. Yeah, I made that Dan video when I was like still a teen, but also I hate the video. Um, because it was supposed to just be the roast battle stuff that's in the video. That's all it was supposed to be. And then people came to me and dropped all that stuff, the more serious stuff and whatnot on my lap in regards to him like messaging girls getting younger and younger and younger and asking for photographs and whatnot. And I was like, well, if I don't include this, I'm gonna feel like shit if I don't do it. So, and I'm gonna beat myself up over it. So then I included it, and then the video it gets progressively worse. I really fucking hate that video. Look at your DMs. Feel free to show chat. What the fuck is wrong with you? Based in Evanville. I I don't think it was a good video. I don't think it was a good video. Oh, there's a zipper there. Didn't know that. Okay, is Miss ZZ trying to come back? Miss ZZ is actually doing the smartest thing I would say in terms of handling it, which is she said her piece on the thread and she's mostly shut the fuck up, which has avoided some eyes off of her. Not all, but some. But there is some developments with Miss ZZ recently. I can't get into any more specifics than that. Um, but you guys will see them. Don't worry. It's not going to be something that just stays behind doors if that's what you think. No, you will definitely get those developments, and I wish I could share more because there have been some interesting responses, to say the least, that are really fucking horrible, just outright retarded. Are you going to do a full video on Ponder privatizing her video on you? I don't think so. I am going to be covering Ponder and Stone's collab at some point, but I'm not going to just do a video on her privating it. Now, would it be better if she, grabbed her fucking cojones and was willing to chat about it like she said that she was initially? Yeah. Is it going to happen? Probably not. Ponder's perspective is just going to quietly coast it, okay? Because she doesn't want to shine any more, eyes on it. She doesn't know what to say. It's not that hard to just fucking admit you were wrong after lecturing me about how I couldn't do that, and then I did admit where I was wrong, and now you can't do it. But hey, it's okay because you're Ponder's Sprocket. I have no idea. I have no idea how she has that many subscribers. Um, my best guess, woman? I don't know. Like usually the women perform better. But that's my best guess because people did simp for her and they have drawn all kinds of fucking artwork of her. So that's my best guess. Um, because she's fucking annoying to listen to. I, I think I. I shared with the chat what you refused to show. Face the reckoning. Yeah, I will be covering the Mad Libs video. Yes, Sparrow, I will be covering that again. Yeah, and Ponder's very theatrical and dramatic. I'm looking forward to covering the Mad Libs video again, because one of my favorite things is that they admit to a lot of stuff that would cross their own lines, but the audience looked past that, and then admitted that it was because I was beginning to garner an audience of cronies, and then they proceed to show people defending me, one of which was actually a person who previously tried to dox me. So that was neat. Um, but hey, you know, it is what it is. Well, she also leans into like the sexualization, the sexualization stuff. She leans into it, and she has um, for quite a while. So that's why I said woman, because not only is she a female creator, but she leans into the sexualization. She has fun with it a lot, and so that probably attracts a lot of gooners, if you catch my drift. Do you think one cell junior would know diff that? I don't know power scaling like that. Ponder doesn't want to hurt her image online. Yeah, that's most likely it. Could be multiple reasons from the topics she talked about. I think she made videos about VZ Pop from what I heard. On top of that, she has a Goonerbait persona. Yeah, that's how you put it. Goonerbait persona. Yeah. Especially when Ponders contradicted herself on things she said about you. She's contradicted herself on almost everything she said about me. Lying, what was it? Don't make accusations without evidence. Don't lie by omission. Deleting things is inherently trying to hide your actions. Deleting comments is bad. I can keep fucking going all day here. That asking for a minor's personal information is apparently attempting to dox them. Because, mind you, she firstly falsely accused me of that, then said that that was an attempted dox, and then 2 years later did it herself. Like, almost every standard in those two-part videos, she went ahead and said, out the fucking window. Chucked it right out the window. Like that clip from Family Guy when Peter brings Dr. House the rule book and he says, "Get this thing out of my sight," and he chucks it out the window. That's exactly what she did with her own script. And Beckett's perspective seems to be the perspective that a lot of people have, which is that she was pushed into it. But that's not true at all. She was planning on covering me before Nezzy Monster and her were going to do the collab. In fact, they were both planning on covering me separately. Then, allegedly, this is from, I believe, her recounting of it, talked about it in VC, decided to do the collab together. But originally, she was planning on covering me on her own. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's impeccable timing that both Ponder and Stone, choose the most it's the perfect timing to want to step away. Abby, I have done that already. The FCK Maxim. I really I really don't want to have to make another. Okay? I'm tired, boss. I don't want to have to make another. That is true. Puppy Lover Studios, that is true. Ponder was also used as a cudgel against Akumu because every single idiot from ACC and SCC used Ponders. Yes, also true. Like every video that you will find on me, every single one, even the ones that are private now, even Joko Musical's video about me and Madame was propping up Ponder's videos. Every single one was propping those videos up. Mushroom Girls, that one person that covered Kai Weiss, Every video that pretty much talked about me that came out about then, even from the FCK and even from from people that weren't the FCK, propped those two videos up at every opportunity. Which is why it's fucking hilarious that those videos are all fucking privated. But, you know. I mean an updated one. Oh, sheesh. Fuck, you're trying to kill my laptop. You're trying to just squeeze what little life it has out, huh? I'm not pushing that rule. You deserve it at this rate. You ear raped some of them. I wouldn't say they were. I wouldn't say. I would say that Ponder's allowed herself to get this idea that she has. She plays into the whole mommy thing, okay? That they have. She plays into the whole queen thing. She has. How many times has she LARPed as a lawyer? Fucking countless times. And and in that she's shocked that people think that she'd actually make a good lawyer. And she's got like literally dozens and dozens of comments spanning multiple videos. I've screenshotted just a couple of them from the videos that were made on me, praising her up as this lawyer. And at one point, yeah, I can't wait for this. They argue, unironically, they don't say they're going to commit perjury, but they argue that they're going to commit perjury just to get some kind of win in some fake court case. I can't wait to cover that. You guys are going to love that. I want long 9 hours isn't enough to binge. Fuck. Because if I think about that, so to update them, if I were to update the Maxim, I'd have to add the call with Thuman, which happened April 11th. So, because the call with Laka was April 4th of 2024. The call with Thuman was April 11th of 2024. I'd have to add that, and then all this. I mean, that's gonna be like a 12-hour video. Since when has she leaned into the mommy thing? Look at her community post. Go to her community post right now. Go to her community post right now. Go to it right now. Go to it right now. Like this second. Just take a look. Take a gander at her most recent community post. Oh, Insomnia. That you're talking about Klonoa fan. He's a fucking nut job, okay? He's been around for whew, a while, okay? Don't worry about him. Kabuto Yakushi, $5. I literally can't imagine hating someone enough to fantasize about that. The ACC are just crazy, lol. Oh, yeah, they fantasized about all kinds of things. Um, one of my favorites was the getting me arrested and beat by the police. That was neat. That was nice. That was nice to read. Yeah, everyone just took her word. Her word as the word of God. Yeah, I'm a little confused on what Bruce is saying. There's an argument breaking out in chat. Oh boy, we got ourselves a fight in the chat. I also heard Heaton stalked Chuli for years. It, I wouldn't say stalked. It was because if okay, if looking at public tweets is stalking, as Heaton likes to pretend it is, then by her own logic, she has also stalked Chuli. By her own logic, they both stalked each other. Okay, but they're not consistent in that. Yes, beaten by the police. Why is Ponder trying to be a mother figure? I have no fucking idea. I have no idea. I don't know why she'd want to lean into that. She already has an audience of an interesting bunch of people, some of which I've become accustomed to know by name because they're so wonderful and lovely. Okay, I'm gonna probably butcher the pronunciation here. Uh, I don't, I don't, I don't know how I'm supposed to say this. I'm gonna do Ellie. I, I don't know how to say this name. I'm gonna say, I guess I'll just go with Bug. Bug with, I don't know how to pronounce this name. I'm lost here. It's definitely not Lila, but with the $2, anyone willing to catch a girl up. Whew. Chat, you mind taking that one over? Cause we're about to be we're wrapping things up now. It was a couple of people. It was when they were thinking I was gonna dox Nil. It was like right. It was a couple of months after the Mad Libs video. Akumu making us do his job. Okay, you know what? Fair, fair. You know what? That's an absolute right. Okay, you know what? I'll catch up. So we covered the call with Lyle, where Lyle was basically giving a rundown to the Cat's Lair Peanuts about the recent developments with Doodle tones, which include the George Raccoon video and um, some other things that have been discovered in relation to the Cloud Palace and also previous narratives that were not so true. Oh, Lelia. Okay, Lelia with $5. She says, is how people usually pronounce it, but I'm chill with Layla or just Lay or even Bug Lamau. Well, if it's Lelia, okay, I mean whatever's the proper way to pronounce it. But thank you for the $5. I appreciate that. Puppy Lover Studios. This like barely even scratching the surface. This community attracts a lot of crazy people. Why would I be missing a leg? Oh no, no, no. I'm if it's not obvious, like my brain is starting to shut down. Yes, the stream will be archived. Um, I'm wrapping up now. Okay, like now, and then I'm probably gonna yeah yeah. I don't even know if I'm gonna eat anything else. I'm not really hungry. I'm just gonna hit the hay. Would you consider doing a video covering just the new stuff chronologically as an addition to the the Octopus Maxim? I will consider it. I still have some other videos to do. I have the Cloud Palace. I did see Lonzo's video, yes, but I have the Cloud Palace to cover. I have the video on Madlib's video from 2020. Then I have to cover Ponder and Stone. I'm not letting Stone fucking, let alone Ponder, but especially Stone worm his way out of that. Um, No, no. Just because you want to pick a convenient time to walk away. Evan, you're on that fine line, on that fine line. About to lose your mod privilege. Thank you, HFC World 2. I appreciate that. Do you have any other plans for YouTube after all the? Oh yeah, yeah. I'm working on that Mugen video still. The problem with that one is I'm trying to I'm trying to find certain pieces of information, and I have to reach out to specific people for that because I'm doing a retrospective, but I'm also trying to answer some certain like community questions that haven't been answered yet. And to do that, I got to hear back from these people, and I haven't heard back from them. So it's kind of in a stalemate. But aside from that, I've also uncovered some new things for it too. So I'm excited for it. It's just there's some ups and downs with that project. Sparrow says, at Akumu, if you don't make my section the longest of the Mad Libs video, we're not real friends. JK, JK. Lelia says, with $10, ooh, thank you. I saw a chatter say the SCC would call you racist for not knowing how to pronounce my name, and I just have to say I've had people in the real world look at my name and pronounce it Lee and say, good enough. Don't worry about that. Like, if they're desperate enough, they're desperate enough. W stream, glad I could catch a stream for once, and I hope you're on your way to getting a better laptop/PC for vids in the near future with all these donos. I am definitely on my way. How long? Oh yeah, I'm another 5 to 10 years. No, no, I'm just having fun with you. Okay, I can't have fun with you guys. I see. All right, guys. It has been a really good night and a really good. Oh, hold on, Leah with $5. They didn't even ask how to pronounce it. You're doing golden. I've also had a guy say it wasn't my real name and like stalk me again. Doing great. Oh, Evan with $2. Lee Tong Lee Buck. What is why? All right, guys, calm down. Let's dial it back. You guys have done like you've been fucking insane with the donations. I should have done a goal. Okay, I should have done a goal, and I should have done like a little silly music thing. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start using the goal feature from now on, cause you guys are going crazy with this, and I need to use the goal feature. I need to be putting in more work if I'm gonna be doing these streams. But thank you guys for coming out. Um, and just hanging out, having a good time, you know. And it's been fun. It's been a really fun night. The stream is gonna remain up as like almost all the streams do. I just got here, bro. Well, rewatch the stream. That's the best I can tell you. But good night, guys. I appreciate it. It was fun. I had a lot of fun. Hopefully, hopefully I can do these more often. Hopefully, and especially when I get that new computer. Um, we're gonna be doing these more often. So good night, guys. I hope you guys have a good night. Oh, and look forward to my coverage on the Nezi calls and whatnot, and I'll keep you updated on the Cloud Palace stuff. I don't know how well it's gonna go, but we'll find out. So until next time.